This is 16-year-old me, waving goodbye to school forever. Allow me to explain. Throughout my time at school, I never really felt like I fitted in. When I was curious about something, I was told to keep quiet, put my head down and get on with my work. But I found this impossible as I'm naturally very hyperactive, which led to me always being in trouble. So when one of my teachers sat me down and said, "Let's be honest, Mark, you're not going anywhere, so here are your options. You either continue to study, but it'll be a waste of everyone's time, or you can leave and try and get a job." It was one of the best days of my life, as I was only focused on one thing: leaving. So I waved goodbye to the school with no qualifications or money under my belt, and when I became a millionaire in my early 20s, I was happy that I proved my teachers wrong. But even though I succeeded, I had very little direction and had to work out a lot of things by myself. That's why I'm making this video, because I wish I had something like this when I was starting out. If you follow all the steps I'm about to share, I don't see how you won't be miles ahead of everyone else. Actually, I pretty much guarantee you will be if you follow all of these steps. Step 1 is to create an investment budget. A lot of people put this as one of the last steps, but that's the main reason most people don't make it. They treat investing as an afterthought rather than a priority. I believe there are 3 types of people in the world: wasters, worriers and winners, otherwise known as the 3 W's. Wasters go through life spending everything they earn. They say things like, "Money doesn't make you happy." However, at the same time, they are spending all of theirs trying to improve their lives. Worriers hoard their money like a squirrel saving its acorns for winter. They say things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees." The sad thing is, even though these people have a lot of money, they often deprive themselves of the little pleasures in life in order to save a few extra dollars. They're so focused on using budgets to keep their expenses down that they miss the far bigger picture. Winners are the complete opposite of both of these people. They understand that money can make them happy and that it does grow on trees if they invest correctly. They earn money not to spend it, but to invest, all while not depriving themselves of the things that they enjoy. To become a winner, you need to change the way you think about money. Instead of seeing it as a tool to get the things you want, start viewing it as a tool to get more money. The only other way to make money is by trading your time, and personally, I'd rather use my money than trade my literal years on this earth. Here's something to consider. If you worked for a whole year and saved up $10,000, but you spent it all on upgrades for your car, you'd have to save that money all over again, costing you another year. However, if you invested it correctly, you could use that $10,000 to make $100,000. Then you could purchase the upgrades you want with some of the profits and still have an extra $90,000 that you can reinvest. That brings me on to step 2, which is to increase your value. Let me tell you the story of Cooper and Dwayne. They both lived in California and decided to take up surfing as a new hobby. Cooper searched for the biggest waves every day. He didn't bother with the smaller ones. Some days, if he couldn't find any waves big enough, he just went home. On the other hand, Dwayne went out every day and rode as many waves as he could. Whether big or small, he simply enjoyed the process of surfing and improving his skills. One day, Cooper and Dwayne were out at sea when a huge wave started to build on the horizon. Cooper thought to himself, this was exactly what he had been waiting for, a wave that was finally big enough for him. On the other hand, Dwayne was just excited to put his skills to the test and thought of it like any other wave. They both began paddling. Dwayne expertly popped up onto his feet and rode inside the barrel of the wave. He looked back expecting to see Cooper behind him, but he wasn't there. Cooper had fallen off almost as soon as the wave had arrived. All he could do was watch as Dwayne rode it all the way to the shore. In Cooper's mind, Dwayne had just got lucky, but the truth was, Dwayne had put in all the practice and learned something from every wave he'd ever caught. This is how most people approach getting rich. They spend too long searching for the one thing that will make them a ton of money, all while ignoring the day-to-day things they can be doing to increase their value. Huge waves do come every now and again. I've benefited from the dot-com bubble in the late 90s, the housing bubble in the 2000s, and the recent crypto boom. However, I wouldn't have been able to take advantage of them if I hadn't increased my value by investing back into myself. When you start thinking this way, you stop seeing every online course or YouTube video as the one thing that will make you rich, and instead just a little wave to conquer and add to your skill set. So where should you focus your time? Well, if you notice there's a clear gap in the market for a certain skill, such as a plumber, it really is a nightmare finding a good plumber nowadays. But anyway, that aside, if you decide to go down this path, it might make sense to spend $1,000 to get a qualification and then start making upwards of $5,000 a month. Over the course of a year, that would be a 60x return on your investment. If you can't think of anything to do, don't waste time waiting for waves. Instead, you can spend time mastering universal skills like public speaking, negotiating, and content creation. These skills will all come in handy no matter what path you decide to follow in the future, as they're all transferable and can be used in multiple areas. I'm not saying all education is good. I believe far too many people are going to university for degrees that aren't even worth the paper they're written on. However, if you view every skill as an investment and get some kind of return on it, then it's worthwhile learning. If it was me, I would repeat this step as many